Who would know what lies beneath? Unleash it with a machine as savage as you are.
This is how legends are made.
Lenovo Legion. Stylish outside, savage inside.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts. The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts.
Hi, it's these, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco. It starts with the parts.
Hi, it's these, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco. It starts with the parts. From the outside, who would know what lies beneath? Unleash it with a machine as savage as you are.
This is how legends are made.
Lenovo Legion. Stylish outside, savage inside.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts. The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts.
Hi, it's these, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco. It starts with the parts.
Hi, it's these, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco. It starts with the parts. From the outside, who would know what lies beneath? Unleash unleash it with a machine as savage as you are.
This is how legends are made.
Lenovo Legion. Stylish outside, savage inside.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts. Settle in at home, get your gown on, and cucumbers for your eyes. Manicure, pedicure, your choice. It's Spa Night on the eSeries. Wait a second, my bad. This Spa, the legendary Belgian track, is about to be torn up by a swarm of supercars. We never get over ovals. 2 more 4-turn tussles with Charlotte our destination. If your racecraft is draft, then this is the place for you. Buckle up for another round of the Repco Supercars Pro eSeries.
Oh yes, we're back for another big round of the Repco Supercars Pro eSeries. Yes, it is Spa Night, but it's also Fan Choice Night, and the fans have gone for more ovals. Welcome once again to Jonathan Simon. Really looking forward to getting out onto Charlotte. So welcome to you, but of course, very special welcome to Garth Tander because it's Tander Tuesdays, and we've got him here. The reigning Bathurst champ is in the house. Garth, welcome to the eSeries.
Thanks, mate. Great to be here. Really looking forward to some oval stuff. I actually haven't driven on the oval in the sim, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yep.
And then Spa, fantastic circuit, amazing layout. So I wasn't sure where you were going in that intro, though. The cucumbers and all that sort of stuff. I much prefer
warming you
the
up, warming you up for it nicely tonight. Good to get your expert comments on 2 tracks you've not been to before, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm not sure how much of an expert I can be, but I'll give it a go.
You had a crack on the sim as well, back in the All-Stars. How'd you go at that?
Not great. No, not great.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very different, very, very different. Yeah. I struggled to get a real feel. It felt like the tyres were flat. That's what it felt like. Yeah. So it's great that you can get that feeling that you can feel like, oh, it doesn't feel like the setup's right, but it's a control setup, so same for everyone. Yep. I was teammates with Shane Van Gisbergen, who won the All-Stars series, but he gave me absolutely zero help. So took that really competitively. But I had a great time. I beat Lounsey, and that was my only goal, was to beat Greg Lounsey.
As long as you beat the old guy in the field, you're all good. So haven't been to Spa, haven't been to Charlotte, but you have been to Bathurst.
Yes.
And boy, oh boy, were you on it this year. Congratulations. Bathurst 1000 winner. It's over a month ago, but we just want to go back and relive some of these special moments once again. Must have been weird watching from the pits at the end.
Yeah, it's strange. Obviously, since moving to the co-driver role, you're not in the car at the end of the race. So that's the biggest thing to get used to, is not being in the car at the end of the race. So obviously Shane did an amazing job in those last 3 stints. So just sat back and enjoyed it. Became a bit of a race fan, actually. Just enjoyed the race. It was a great battle that both Shane and Cam had, and coming out on top was a fantastic result for the team.
The good news is, Jonathan, we've got Shane back again tonight. He's going to be taking a part of the ovals, and he was quick again last week.
Certainly was. He's only going to take part in the oval, so he'll be absent for Spa. Leave that up to your imagination. But he was he was very, very quick. The Red Bull HRT drivers, I mean, your squad does really well on strategy, and same on the sim too.
Yeah, I saw in qualifying, those two guys are actually working together, both Shane and Jared working together in qualifying, getting a tow from each other. So I know when we did the COTA race, we had a chat going amongst all the drivers, all the Red Bull drivers, so they'll be doing the same thing now. So there's a lot to it in the background that I don't think a lot of the people at home see on TV, just how much communication, how much goes on in the background when you're driving the sim.
Yeah, Discord, Zoom, Twitch, there's SMSs. There's plenty of different ways to stay in the loop. So this is what we've got coming up on the menu tonight. Once again, we're off to the ovals because they're just too much fun. They're both worth 75 points. And Jonathan, reverse grid back again.
And Thunderdome at Calder Park was modelled upon Charlotte Motor Speedway. So if we ever had oval racing in supercars, we get a feel for what it would have been like. And let me tell you, the All-Stars race was an absolute cracker, a thriller. Get a thesaurus out because you can use so many words to describe that one. And then Spa. Not the foot spa, not the whatever other spa. Yep. Yeah, you think about it.
Spa-Francorchamps.
Spa-Francorchamps, one of the most exquisite, majestic circuits in the world.
Yeah, we're taking some fuel out of the cars as well. So the fuel games that we enjoyed at Monza are going to be coming back. Now, who's going to be starting on the pole at Charlotte? Well, once again, we'll check out exactly who took out our coin pole award tonight. We've got someone different. Jonathan, how cool is this? Got Brady Myers rolling up.
Oh, it's great to see him on pole position. He's $500 richer now thanks to coin. He's the oldest pole sitter in our eSeries at a very old Garth. You'll love this. 26 years of age, mate.
Oh, he's got to give it away. He's clearly too old. Time to give it away.
Oldest in the field is only 33 years of age.
He's a co-driver now, I reckon.
It's not too big. He's off to eSeries co-driver land.
Yeah, that's what you do when you get older.
Yeah.
So
2,000ths of a second as well, isn't it?
Yeah, crazy close. I mean, less than a tenth of a second covering the top 10. And really, the ovals, it's nice to be on pole, but it's not about qualifying. It's about the strategy. It's about making sure you time your run, staying out of trouble in that last couple of crazy laps. So nice to be on pole position, but it's certainly not going to be a guarantee to have a race win.
It does give Brady Myers the chance of hopefully picking up one of these really cool Seiko 5 watches. Once again, we're going to be giving away one of these for the Seiko 5 shootout. This one is the Street Fighter edition. I think it's very cool. And this is the Guile special edition one of those as well. So we're going to send the fastest 5 out for the Seiko 5 shootout. Can Brady Myers win the watch? One thing we love about the ovals, always mixing up the grids. And how cool is it to see Brady Myers now on the front row with last week's pole sitter, Cooper Webster, Madison Down, championship contender out there, Job Stewart, just 16 years of age, and Andrew Gilliam giving the guys at the front lots of room to work with. And we are set to go green flag racing here at Charlotte. Great to have Garth Tander ready for this one. Can maybe, just maybe, we get a win from the back road like we did last week, Garth?
Well, I mean, it's about strategy. It's short race, but there's still strategy involved. I don't think you want to be leading coming into the last lap, even here at Charlotte. So we'll see now as we go green, who starts to position themselves to where they want to be for that final run.
Last week at Michigan was a lot of fun. Are we going to see more carnage this time round? Suzlin Harlow for Brad Jones Racing got the win last week. Sideways, backwards, just about upside down at the stripe. It was pretty cool. And already the games begin, Jonathan, down the backstretch.
Best overtaking spot is turn 3. You get a great run coming out of 2. Someone's going to whack the wall. 3 wide's impossible, and Madison Down does swipe the wall. Hopefully no damage for the next couple of laps.
So this relegates Stewart to the back. Gilliam not hanging around, not playing the games out the back. In the Boost Mobile car, he's already hampering the back of the Seiko 5 car.
So you see Cooper Webster just white lining it here, just want to run around the bottom. That's clearly, it's the shortest distance, running it down as he goes to the high line.
He's trying to cover both lines off.
Yeah, so you're wanting to white line it here, and it's working. No one's able to get a run on him.
Pushing and shoving, Brady Myers in that Pioneer DJ car was the pole sitter, getting slotted to the back. DJ did a bit of oval track racing once upon a time over there in the States. Here we go, last lap.
Third attempt for Webster in the Seiko 5 shootout. Hopefully he finally gets it done and wins that.
Oh, he's going to use the bumpers.
Got loose.
He's been watching too much NASCAR. He's going to move him up the racetrack. And that was nicely done. He's found that racetrack down low where he wanted it. And Cooper Webster is in the middle with no friends.
So now Gilliam's just...
Webster's gone.
Buckle gone.
Takes
Gilliam's just going to run the white line here.
Tickford are going to get the job done. Job Stewart trying for Erebus at the stripe, doesn't get there. And he's pretty happy about that one. How cool is that? Love the move through turn 1, just moving Cooper Webster up the racetrack. That was proper NASCAR style.
Do you reckon he's pumped? How cool is that? Off the back row, started 5th, drove a smart race.
Second time in 2 weeks that the guy starting last wins the Seiko 5 shootout, and he wins the Seiko 5 watch. Well done to Andrew Gilliam and the crew at Tickford. Oh, that's what 3 laps looks like. We've got 36 of them coming up after this.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts.
Hi, Steve's, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts. From the outside, who would know what lies beneath? Unleash it with a machine as savage as you are.
This is how legends are made.
Lenovo Legion. Stylish outside, savage inside.
Hi, Steve's, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts. Tired of poor sound quality while you're trying to hit those apexes? Well, Shure are giving away mobile recording kits, enabling professional quality audio solutions every week of the eSeries. Simply head to the Supercars Facebook page tomorrow, post a photo of your sim setup. The image with the most likes wins.
Supercars Pro eSeries. It's all thanks to Repco here tonight. We've got Jonathan Simon and all four-time Garth Tander. How does that sit with you now? Four-time.
That is not. We are not running
stick?
that. We are not running that.
You were three-time for 9 years.
Yeah, we're still not running it.
I'll work on that throughout the night. Let's check out our Repco Championship points to see how we're looking coming into night number 5 of 6. Josh Rogers has blown that lead out to 99 points.
Yeah, he can. 75 points on offer for each of our Charlotte events. That's for the winner. And then 150 big ones at Spa later on. Now, Rogers can mathematically wrap up the championship today at Spa, but you'll need a miracle looking at points here this afternoon. So I don't think it's going to happen, Chad, but you never know in the Supercars universe.
Yeah, Andrew Gilliam up 2 spots in that championship, and he's now got a watch to go with it, which is really cool. He's pretty happy about that one. Let's check out our Repco race facts as we get set for the first of our 2 races tonight at Charlotte. Jonathan, let's talk us through what we need to think about for 36 laps.
Yep, so races 12 and 13 of the championship coming up. This first race's grid was determined by qualifying. Race 13 will be a reverse gridder. Now, 75 points on offer, as we said, for the winner in each of these events. It's going to be a 36-lap race or 20 minutes if we do indeed go time certain. Now, as we've had all season, 1 compulsory pit stop will be required in each of these events. If you do make that pit stop under green flag conditions, you will lose 1 lap. It's difficult. It's different to Michigan. Now, what we saw with our Red Bull HRT drivers last week in Triple Eight was they waited to pit as long as possible to the end. I should see a few more teams follow that today.
Yeah, he who pitted last seemed to win the race last week on the ovals. A lot of people say, Garth, it's an oval. You go left. How hard could it be? But there's a ton of strategy and racecraft involved.
Yeah, particularly here at Charlotte, because it's not just flat out the whole way around. As the tyre goes away, you're going to have to start to manage the car and actually drive the car. So there's that. Getting the car on and off pit lane is not as simple as just driving it into pit lane and thinking it's going to stop because your car is coming off the oval the way the car's set up. So there's a lot to it. And then you've got to manage where you are. So you want to get a run in the last part of the race. Do you want to lead on the last lap? We saw in the Fast 5 that you probably don't want to lead going into the last lap. So there's a lot to it. Yes, it is just turning left, but there's a lot more than just turning left.
Yep. And Johnny, you've probably seen on iRacing throughout the week a lot of drivers popping up and doing some testing and practice laps. So none of them really did that for Michigan. I think they've all had a bit of a wake-up call that it's pretty difficult.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, like Garth said, it's not just turning left. There's more steering done with your feet than it is with the steering wheel around an oval. And I think that's a challenge a lot of the drivers have found out at Michigan and at Charlotte.
All right, a lot of drivers also tipping carnage at the pit entrance. It's a pretty awkward one at Charlotte. So we're not too far away from getting into race number 12 of the championship. Here's your Seiko 5 starting grid. It's a rolling start with this big grid of 23 cars heading our way tonight. Brady Myers, oldest pole sitter, I love that, at 27. 2,000ths of a second, 6 different pole sitter in the series. There is SVG coming out of position 3. Madison down in the championship hunt. There's the championship leader. Job Stewart, 2 podiums on the ovals last week, the youngest in the field. Andrew Gilliam did many a donut after that last win in the Seiko 5 shootout. He's got his teammate alongside him. Harley Haber passed about 20 cars in 10 laps last week. Can he continue that? Forza El Nabi a bit further up the grid. There he is, second in the championship in 11th. He's in the danger zone back there. Jared Filsell, podiums galore last week. Mid-pack again this week. Can he get up to the field? Oh, hallelujah, there's a rainbow car. Right. That is the Jeff Gordon livery from many moons ago. Jake Blackhall bringing that back tonight. I love it. There's Jake Burton. He's alongside Ethan Griggould. They were both in last year's championship. Jackson Suzlin-Harlow and Sam Blacklock with some work to do. James Golding out of position 21. Cool to have a full-time driver of years gone by in this field. He's alongside Josh Muggleton. And poor Emily Jones, her worst qualifying of her eSeries career. That's how they line up, thanks to Seiko 5. That's your starting grid. Not too far away from going live, and that is the live look. All around the country, plus Germany for the championship leader, Josh Rogers. And this guy, the pole sitter, for the very first time in his career, he was the #1 draft pick last year, was disappointed with how that all worked out. Needs to work on his aspect ratio. Looking very thin there today.
Best way to lose weight, I reckon.
Not bad. Okay, what can we expect to see here? 36 laps. What a cool place this is. Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're just outside of the city of Charlotte, a little place called Concord. And Garth, this is a part of America where motorsport heritage is rich. A lot of NASCAR teams base themselves in this part of the world.
This is the world headquarters of NASCAR. That's how they say it in America, world headquarters. And when you talk about NASCAR, it's all about Charlotte. Like I say, a lot of the race teams are based there. All the biggest races are here, other than Daytona. So, yeah, it's one that the NASCAR fraternity love, and it's one they all want to win. The all-star race is generally held here, so we'll see what sort of all-star activity we have tonight.
Looking forward to it as we get the pros out and ready to go. 36 laps. The big one that they have here is the 600. That's 400 laps around here. That is a long race. 1,000 Ks. You're pretty used to 1,000 K races, Garth, as we get set to go lights out and green flag, and Brady Myers leading us to the green at Charlotte. Race 12 is go under lights.
So we're going to be conservative into turn 1, or we got 30-odd laps to deal with it? Are we going to go conservative, or are we going to just go full attack straight away?
Expecting to see more attacking styles in this one, Garth, given that passing is quite difficult compared to where we were last week in Michigan. We've seen that already in the Seiko 5 shootout. Track position will help tonight. There is Shane Van Gisbergen slotting in nicely into third. We've been chatting to him tonight. How's he feeling ahead of 2 big races?
Yeah, he said he's good at turning left, so he was pretty confident. So we'll see how he goes. He's got his engineer sitting in the sim with him as well. So we'll see how he goes tonight. Running the high line here through turns 1 and 2.
Brady Myers saying to his crew chief, I know Shane, he always goes the high line around turn 2. Pulls back in behind him. And then they're going 2x2 down the back straight with Cooper Webster trying to push SVG to the front of the field. Championship leader sitting nicely in that second row.
Look at the understeer. Webster picked up coming out of 4. Turn 3 is the fastest of the 4 corners, just because of the run you get coming out of 2, about 300 kilometers an hour. And look at this, 3 wide down the back of the pack. We've got 2 rows of 3 wide. Here is Webster's now in the middle of Shane Van Gisbergen and Madison down.
Oh, that was a close one. Championship leader pushed down low. Maybe just got out of vision there for a second with Brady Myers.
Don't go.
There's no gap there, but he'll try it anyway. Joe Stewart, you're coaching him from the commentary box. And he's still 3 wide. He's got nowhere to go. Erebus have taken on quite a lot of tuition for him on the ovals, especially, and it paid off last week with a pair of podiums.
When we were on board just before, you could just hear how much throttle feathering was going on in the pack. Obviously, you need to manage the gap to the car in front, but then also just with the understeer that the car has, just feathering on and off the throttle quite a bit.
It's Josh Rogers, live from Germany. Not a lot of ovals in Germany. Uh-oh, up in the wall is Cooper Webster.
Good save.
He caught it. He nearly took Harley Haber with him. They all tried and give him some room. Depending on damage, he might be able to fight another day. They do get quick repairs in their one pit stop tonight.
You can gain around half a second with the draft around here at best. Once the tyres give up, as Garth was talking about, you're having to lift. Lap 9 comes by, and they're going to be 1.2 to 1.4 seconds slower at that rate than a fresh set of rubber. That's when we should see the earliest pit stops, lap 10 onwards.
Andrew Gilliam driving nicely as well after picking up a win in that Seiko 5 shootout. He's in the Boost mobile car driving for Tickford. He's got his Tickford teammate with him, so that could be something to watch out for. Teammates working together. Richard Hampstead, one of the best on the ovals in that super cheap auto car. We go on board with them right now. He's got a nice run to the outside. Josh Rogers throws the block, but he goes anyway. Can't beat momentum.
Oh,
that's brave.
Big understeer towards the fence.
Nervous moments for the championship leader in the mix. You can just see him out to the left-hand side.
You can see Rogers was trying to get to the lead. I think he was trying to get to the lead, figuring that was the safest place to be. But now, in all that effort to get to the lead, he's finding himself now 4th, 5th, around that more of a dangerous area. So he needs to manage forwards and backwards now. That's where all the big crashes last week happened, was around that top 5. But it's very much like being at Talladega. The safest place, out front. It's also we're going to use the most fuel, but that's not going to be too much of an issue tonight. We're going to take you on board and ride in the Tickford car, and it's the Tickford cars that were modelled for iRacing. Crank it up. This is our sure sounds of the game. Plenty of pushing and shoving from the driver's seat. How cool is that? And it is busy work around this 1.5-mile oval. And like you mentioned, the Thunderdome modelled on this track, albeit slightly shorter. Did you get any good nights at the Thunderdome? I knew you grew up on my side of the country, but did you ever make it to the Thunderdome? No, Thunderdome had sort of shut down by the time I'd moved to Melbourne, but if the Thunderdome was based on this, they didn't quite get the Thunderdome quite as smooth as Charlotte. So I know the Thunderdome's a lot bumpier.
I love it. Time to check out our first Lenovo Savage moment of the night, and it may have involved some big names. This is further back in the pack. Jared Filsell about to get pushed out wide off the rear of Harley Haber. Jimmy Golding involved in that one. Josh Muggleton trying to stay out of it, just finished the job.
And that's critical for the championship because Jared Filsell came into this round 5th in the standings, and only the top 5 are paid series cash and prizes. So will Filsell fall out of the top 5?
Quite possibly off the back of that one. Van Gisbergen running in this front pack. Now, this is important. Doesn't have his teammate to watch out for. Last week, he played the Red Bull wingman, so to speak. Harley Haber picks up our Seiko 5 fastest lap. Now he can focus on himself, try and pick up a win tonight.
So we know these are virtual crashes and they don't cost anything, but for Filsell,
oh
no, what a save. I was going to say for Filsell, that could be a $1,500 crash just based on the prize money he could lose by not finishing 5th in the standings.
That was a fair old save from Shane Van Gisbergen. He was on the clay on the weekend, driving speed cars over in New Zealand, or midgets as they're called over there, and needing all that experience just then.
Just running around the bottom here, just running in that 9th spot. You can just see out the front of the car just how much movement in and out. He's going down a gear, so the amount of understeer that he has going down a gear for 5th for turns 3 and 4. Just listen. Let me get down to 1 and 2. Whoa!
That was nearly big. He's got the inside sit though, and again the car pushes.
Yeah, still holding 6th gear through 1 and 2, so...
Gilliam drops to the back of that pack. I think he got up and into the wall that time by. So Josh Rogers is your race leader. He's turning out to be the little Shane Van Gisbergen of the eSeries world at the moment.
Oh, another wreck.
Very versatile. That was close. That was Brady Myers, the pole sitter. Losing a few spots, got away with it. How about this for Josh Rogers, the race leader, as we go Walkinshaw Andretti United 1-2. He's got his wingman with him, Dane Warren.
A couple of laps earlier, those two guys, both the Walkinshaw cars, are running the higher line and just trying to get a bit of a, not slingshot, but just trying to get a clean run. Potentially looking for clear air up there, and that seems to be worked. Got them to the front. And now the front bunch is a bit more spread out, not running that pack formation. So with pit stops likely to be coming soon, it might be a chance for someone further back in the pack to dive and maybe try an early stop.
And the early stops now are worth about a second per lap. That's how fast those drivers are on that fresh rubber. So, yeah, they're in the back of the pack. They're being lapped at the moment. But you'll see Cooper Webster a little bit behind this pack, but he's actually a lap behind. But he could potentially reel in Josh Rogers in about 5-10 laps' time.
Yep, and those 5 drivers who have pitted, all taking on a fast repair as well due to the damage they picked up in that early crash. May give him a good starting position later as Van Gisbergen sideways again for the reverse grid race. Now 2-car breakaway going on at the front, 3-car breakaway as a matter of fact, as Madison Down joins in. And some sweet relief for Josh Rogers.
They're in perfect position. I would wait until about lap 26, 27 at latest to pit. Gamble on if there's a Repco safety car intervention, and if there isn't, they're good to go for the win potentially.
I feel like I'm watching NASCAR playoffs right now. 1, 2, 3 in the championship. The guys who would have been in the playoffs at the moment, all at the front of the field, just like we're at Phoenix.
Yeah, those guys definitely will extend. I mean, it'd be crazy to box now or pit now. You'd be staying out and just seeing how it all plays out. I mean, we talked about Webster, who's pitted, but if he's stuck in the pack, you know, like he's not getting the benefit of that freshness of the tyre. If you're in the pack, albeit a lap down, you're not getting that fresh tyre gain, so you're not going to gain back on the leaders, get that undercut if you like.
And look how the top 3 are working. It's like road cycling. You're all drafting each other. The top guy drops to the back, and you do that in IndyCar too when you're racing in the Indy 500. Even on the sim, it works the same. So the gap now to the second group is about 0.8 of a second to Shane Van Gisbergen, but now Gizzy's reeling these guys in. They've got to work better than they currently are.
Might have to give the great Phil Liggett a call. Call some of these laps. We've got the team's pursuit going on out there right now.
Yeah, Van Gisbergen was nearly half a second a lap faster than Josh Rogers, who's in third in that lead pack. So he's actually making a bit of a break from this second bunch now, trying to get up to that lead bunch.
Might be just about quick enough this time by to challenge that Seiko 5 fastest lap. We'll give you some lap times, 30.0, the quickest so far, but the tyre life has negated that at the moment. 31.1 that last time by for Shane Van Gisbergen, but he is reeling in this front pack.
Yeah, importantly, yeah, 4/10 faster than the front pack.
And remember who won this race in the All-Stars too? It was Shane Van Gisbergen. Could do it again here.
You won 3 out of the 4 oval races and finished second last time by Michigan. Here he comes.
He's there.
Oh, he's skyrocketing up to the front.
Further back in the pack, Kelly Racing going side by side here. That's Ben Smith and Jeff Gordon down low. An all-star winner. I love that car.
Oh, no.
Oops. Oh,
Gordon.
Jeff. The livery, no.
That's very on Jeff Gordon.
That was on Jeff Gordon. Oh, we've got one riding the fence in the background. And that beautiful Rainbow Warrior livery looking a bit second-hand down the back straight. But well done, Jake Blackwell. He does all those liveries himself, Garth. Actually makes most of the liveries for the year.
Yeah, that's very cool. Well played. Well done.
What a talent. Well, he was catching him. Now he's caught them. It's very much past tense. Shane
One thing to catch, another thing to pass.
You're right there, Murray. Shane Van Gisbergen is in the middle now. Just relegating the championship leader back a spot. Cool to get a Formula 1 97 reference back in. I used to love that game. Were you ever a gamer growing up? Do you have a Super Nintendo or anything?
No, yeah, the F1 games.
Yep.
Yeah, what was it? GP
on the
PC.
On the PC.
GP4,
Wow.
GP3, those
Yeah,
ones.
GP3, I think it was. Yeah, yeah. Hey, mate, don't forget how old I am, mate.
That's true, good point.
Hey.
27, you said? Oldest driver in the field. Old, Freddie Myers?
It's Nigel Mansell World Championship on the Super Nintendo.
Oh,
days.
I had that too.
Yep. The supercar games are fantastic, and now you can get involved with iRacing if you ever want to be a part of this, as they go past the 60-metre telly that stands proudly on the back straight. And what was a 3-car breakaway has taken on more and more passengers.
Well, whilst this looks like a scene of Days of Thunder, which was actually filmed at this circuit as Jordan Caruso jumps into the lane, we've had a lot of drivers in trouble. So from Phil Sell to Webster to Sam Blacklock, Jimmy Golding, Ethan Griggold, they've all had trouble and come in early. That's a bold strategy, Cotton, by Jordan Caruso to come in this early. He should hopefully pick up this pack when he comes out.
So Phil Sell not on the lead lap in this pack. Might be able to help Shane Van Gisbergen out for a little bit, but SVG will be pitting soon enough.
I think
Matter of
now.
fact,
Yeah, now.
It's coming in right now. So not as late as last week.
Oh, that's very late.
Oh, Hampstead late on the brakes. Does he pull that up in time? Now, if you're quick onto pit road, you serve your penalty straight away. So it's better to be quick coming in than going out.
Oh, you serve it in the box.
Yep.
Okay, so we need to keep an eye on that super cheap car, see how long he's stationary for.
Yeah, it's a dead set giveaway. If he sits there for a few seconds longer, he got pinged.
They do need to take 1.5 litres of fuel, but they probably save that drafting, I reckon, most of the race.
I noticed Shane went to the back of the pack. He was in that front bunch for the first 5 or 6 laps, then went to the back, and I wondered then whether he was either saving tyre or saving fuel. So,
yep. Wow, super cheap auto car.
Yeah,
wins the race off pit road.
No penalty there.
No problems whatsoever. Walkinshaw guys stay out.
Oh,
Phil's still down a lap. We've got a lot of cars coming into the pits, including both of the front-running BJR cars.
and all 3 BJR cars too.
All 3,
Jackson
yep.
Susan Harlow dives in just as you say that. So Benjamin Smith, Job Stewart in as well. Now, what do the Walkinshaw cars do?
There's one of them.
Well, they're not going together, which is interesting. So there's a chance here for Dane Warren to finally try and get an undercut on his teammate. He brings one of the BP Ultimate, both of the BP Ultimate cars in with him. That's Emily Jones, who's driven from the back of the pack. We'll get an idea exactly where she sits after the pit stop cycle through, but nicely done from Emily.
And you have to stay within these blue cones right there, then you can rejoin the oval. Otherwise, you'll receive a penalty for an unsafe rejoin.
Nicely done. So reasonably late pit stops in comparison to last week. Still waiting on Josh Rogers, who's going to have awfully fresh rubber at the end of this one.
He's using the pit limiter. I saw the lights flashing.
Yes, that is a must. We legally do have to use that. We got pink for that in the opening round and lost a few spots. Josh Anderson now your race leader.
So it doesn't look like there will be a Repco safety car intervention. I'm very surprised with how clean the race has been. There's been a few incidents that's taken out a few drivers, but apart from that, it's been pretty clean. So for Anderson now, you'd have to dive in now. Otherwise, you're going to waste a set of good Dunlop rubber for the end of this race. Let's see if he dives in. No, the Coca-Cola car continues for another lap.
Oh, he's going to lead his second lap of the season now. So where does Rogers slot back in with this pack? Patience, patience. He'll be behind. Shane Van Gisbergen with a bit of ground to make up. Needs a drafting buddy. Andrew Gilliam swings around the outside. So he's dropped numerous spots. He's got some work to do.
Everybody behind Rogers is going to be about half a second a lap quicker for the rest of the race, and that's going to help in terms of overtaking. I think Jake Burton, currently in 3rd, is in best position to win this race. He's got the freshest rubber, and he's at the front along with his teammate Madison Down.
Josh Anderson still going along. Now he comes into the pit. So Team Sydney Coca-Cola Chris Pither takes its stop. And this will put Jordan Caruso back to the front of the field, but on old rubber, he was first into the pits, so he's got a huge yield out of that undercut. But here comes Jake Burton in the Dunlop car. Brad Jones Racing pushing for the lead. Now, he was so disappointed with his bad results last week and the luck that he's had. Been playing mentally on him over the last couple of weeks. He's sought a little bit of help there as well to help him try and get over those demons, and now he's back in the lead of a motor race, albeit virtually. Fun fact about Jake Burton. You've shared a racetrack with him.
I have, and he's from Perth.
Yep.
But we raced Toyota 86s together. Had a great battle with Jake. Had a good laugh about it in Parc Fermé afterwards as well. It was great fun.
There he is. Now lives in Melbourne, just like you. He's done the Garth Tander move across the country. And cool opportunity with Brad Jones Racing. Won a race with him last year. Got an official test day, which was pretty cool. Had half a day at Winton in Nick Percat's car.
Oh, look at Shane Van
getting racy.
You see Shane Van Gisbergen try to dive up the inside of 1. Turn 3 is your best overtaking spot over here. So on the back straight, you got 5 degrees of banking here.
Now this is, sorry, I was just going to say really important for Madison Down. Remember, 3rd in the championship, lost all those points last week. He was also bitterly disappointed. Said he spent the week wondering what he could have done differently to try and not lose all those points. Josh Rogers. This is not the time to think about it because he's got Shane Van Gisbergen knocking on his bumper, and the 2 BJR cars are into it. Nearly at turn 1.
Van Gisbergen going back to 5th gear. We're going to run now off 2 down the back chute. Running 5th gear the previous lap. The 3 wide now going into turn 3.
And Rogers with that fresh rubber on the high side.
So Rogers has caught the front, and now he's got the freshest rubber out of anybody. So about 2, 3, 4 laps fresher than everybody around him. But it's all about, as Garth, you spoke about, you don't want to lead on that final lap potentially.
Now I think, yeah, everyone's now just sizing each other up. Like, who's got what? You know, where are they positioning themselves? Where do they like to run? Starting to get an idea of where everyone wants to play for the last 3 laps, really, for the run home.
And relying on their spotters. So the spotters, who are typically more like an engineer, very much taking on a NASCAR-style role, trying to be their eyes and their ears. A few of the drivers last week said you need eyes in the back of your head, the side of your head, everywhere.
You do. For this, you do. Now running 3 rows of 2x2.
4 to go. Can Shane Van Gisbergen do it, the oval specialist? What can't he do?
I feel like a bit of calm before the storm here.
Yep. Don't say that. NASCAR feel about it. Rogers now carrying some damage to the left side, and he slides up the racetrack. Big push, and he cops a shot in the rear from Hampstead. He got off him just in time. Dane Warren, that second Walkinshaw Andretti United car, coming to help. And the pole sitter on his way back through as well, Brady Myers. 3 to go. This is fun. Oh, big slide, Caruso, and the Repco car caught it nicely. That might just give the front 3 some breathing room. The blocking from Shane Van Gisbergen. He's made his intentions clear. He's going to stick to that white line.
We saw in the Seiko Fast 5 that if you ran the white line and kept it on the white line, it was very difficult for people to get past. So the trick here is to not let anyone move you from the white line on that last lap.
You're a brave man trying to move Shane Van Gisbergen. 2 to go. Rogers with a run at the top. And he's got a teammate going with him.
The top's just not working. You've got to go to the bottom.
He's not going to win it sitting at the bottom from 5th. Shane throwing the blocks left and right, trying to shake that tail. Burton still with him. His teammate in behind him. 2 Brad Jones Racing cars. 1 888 car. 1 Walkinshaw Andretti United car. And then the Repco racer of Jordan Caruso.
I feel like the only way the top line's going to run down the back chute this lap is if there's a big block to that inside right line.
Oh, he's going for it, is Burton.
Burton runs the top, ran out of patience. His teammate doesn't go with him.
Rogers is going with him, and he could bump him to a potential win, but now he dives to the bottom.
Shane Van Gisbergen sitting on that bottom and making it count. Goes again to the top. Last time through turns 3 and 4. Can he get the momentum? He's run it high and wide, and Shane Van Gisbergen back on the ovals and back to victory lane. Well done to the Red Bull Holden Racing team. And the invitee wins it and becomes the first driver to win in both the All-Stars and the Pro E-Series. Burton ran him cleanly. Could have used the bumpers, but didn't.
No, that was great. I mean, he wanted to try that high line to see if he could make it work. I think he probably went a little early. If he just saved it and maybe tried the high line through 3 and 4 on the last lap, try and create a bit of momentum. But we saw early that the bottom line was where you wanted to be, just as long as no one moved you from that bottom line.
Shane Van Gisbergen literally beat him at their own game. Jake Burton in second tonight on the Repco race score. Madison down third, does get some points, although not quite as many as he would have liked off Josh Rogers. Dane Warren, second in the championship, probably drops back to third now. They were very close. Emily Jones, one of the drivers of the race, 23rd to 11th. Nicely done. And ahead of her teammate, Forzen El Nabi. And Cooper Webster, like he was last week, will be off the pole. Job Stewart not having a good run in that one, but that was exciting. There's going to be some fast cars off the back. Repco highlights. How cool is this? Supercars on an oval. This is sort of what it would have been like if we ever put supercars out there on the Thunderdome. It would have been pretty wild stuff. Race 12 highlights thanks to Repco, and there was a bit of this going on, and unfortunately, for some of the big names, it took them to the back of the grid, and that was actually off the bumper of Josh Rogers, which I didn't realise the first time through. We do have a driving standards observer that will be keeping a close eye on things. But that was a pretty tight one. Jared Filsell, unlucky, and he'll be starting a little bit further back in the pack. Actually, he'll have a nice spot off row number 2 for the later one tonight.
I know, Jared, and what he said there is probably not... I wouldn't unmute that.
Yes. His loyal fans would have been too happy with that one. Shane Van Gisbergen was riding in the front pack pretty much the majority of that race, as were the 2 Brad Jones Racing cars. We also had a couple of Walkinshaw cars. There was plenty of that car banging doors, fighting for that track position. And in the end, it was Shane Van Gisbergen managed to hold his nerve and get the win done. 0.04 of a second. So similar to last week. I think it was 4th.
Yeah, it was.
0.04 last week in both of the oval races. So he's nothing if not consistent. Let's cue him up for a Shaw live chat right now. Shane Van Gisbergen over in New Zealand. The first driver to win in both the Pro E-Series and the All-Stars E-Series. Shane, congratulations, mate. How much fun was that one?
Yeah, evening guys. Not bad, not bad. Good bit of a battle. There was a few loose units at the start, to put it nicely, and then once they were gone, it was a mega race. It was really fun.
Shane, it's Garth here. I texted you today. I said I'm commentating tonight. Do something cool. So good job. Well done.
There you go. Did you one of your kids send that one, mate?
Hey, no, yeah, they text for me, mate. Yeah, they text for me.
Yeah.
Well done. Good job. Looked like you kept it out of trouble. Any strategy in that, or was it just drive it as fast as it can go?
Well, I thought I was going to stay up high and save the tyres, but then I got a little excited and just got amongst it, and it kind of worked as well. But yeah, reverse grid was my undoing last week. There's a lot of few gurus try to win this one on the first lap, so I'll try and be patient and then sneak my way through. But yeah, the oval racing's awesome. It's good fun.
Shane, it's Jonathan Simon here. I've got to ask you, is there something you can't do? Because you're about to race in dirt ovals, you've won in rally, supercars, on the Sim World 2, GTs. Name something you can't do for us, please.
Well, dirt ovals. I'm not allowed to do it anymore. I got banned. So that can. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Reverse grid, mate. You're off the back. I think you did win a race in the All-Stars off the back. Can you do it right now off the back of the grid?
Oh, let's see. Anything can happen, you know, and it's quite a long race here, which is good. You don't have to win it on the first lap. You can sort of settle in. So hopefully a few others learn that and we can have a good race, because it's, it's pretty cool around here, nice and wide, and you can be too wide the whole time.
Nice. Get on the Discord, mate. Tell them all to chill out a bit. You'll be coming off the back row. All right, enjoy, mate. Thanks for the Shore Live chat. Shane Van Gisbergen live from New Zealand. And how is he going to go off the back of the grid? We're about to find out. We need a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts.
Hi, it's these, thanks.
Good choice. Maybe $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts. From the outside, who would know what lies beneath? Unleash it with a machine as savage as you are.
This is how legends are made.
Lenovo Legion. Stylish outside, savage inside.
Hi, it's these, thanks.
Good choice. Maybe $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries is proudly brought to you by Repco. It starts with the parts.
G'day everyone, Benny Smith here, driver of the Kelly Racing Castrol Mustang in this year's Supercars eSeries. I've been sim racing now for about probably 6 or 7 years. Started off in Gran Turismo, did a bit of work with GT Academy and then moved into iRacing and haven't looked back ever since. So this is where all the magic happens. In my SimLab GT1 Evo cockpit. Attached to it we've got a Fanatic direct drive system, Husqvarna sprint pedals, a LG ultra wide monitor to try and get as much view of the track as possible, all with the PC over the back, and my #1 supporter just here, Wally.
Really cool to have Kelly Racing a part of this series. I think Ben Smith's setup is a little bit more high-tech than what Rick Kelly was running.
Yeah.
And our series off the back of that, he's a train driver by trade, and a few of our guys have been doing their best train driving impersonations, running the high line around Charlotte, including your good buddy Jake Burton in the Dunlop car. Check this out. This is there's 2 or 3 lines around Charlotte. This is the extreme top.
That's the high line.
That's
for
the
sure.
high line.
Yeah. When you're talking about running the boards, that's running the boards.
He's running the boards, and then completely up and over and upside down.
Oh, well, that's how you get yourself turned over again.
You'd end up like a turtle otherwise, trying to figure yourself out. So welcome back tonight. We are racing at Charlotte twice, reverse grid race not far away, and then we're going to be going over to Spa in Belgium, which is going to be a lot of fun. Cool to have Garth Tander a part of the fun. All right, let's check out a reverse grid race and how they're going to queue up on our Seiko 5 starting grid. And there's going to be some fast guys at the front of this one, including Cooper Webster, who won the pole last week. Job Stewart got a pair of podiums last time out at Michigan, trying to continue that form today. Harley Haver is really quick. He will run at the front here. Jared Filsell, unlucky to get taken out in that last one, had nothing to do with it. Ethan Grigult hasn't had the best run of late in the last few weeks. He'll be starting alongside James Golding. Sam Blacklock in the famous number 17. I wonder if Dick Johnson ever raced at Charlotte. I think he may have.
I think he might have.
Back in the day, which is pretty cool. Probably in the days of fun to shoot. Falls in El Nabi alongside the Jeff Gordon Rainbow Warrior 24. Love to see that. Emily Jones, great driving that last one, alongside Josh Muggleton, who's been aggressive of late. There is Ben Smith. We just got to know him, number 151, because that's what he runs in the Hyundai Excel series. And he's starting alongside one of the Tickford cars. Andrew Gilliam, unlucky to get shuffled back in that one alongside Dane Warren. Jordan Caruso pitted early, didn't quite work out for him last time. Josh Rogers, the championship leader, alongside him. Pair of BJR cars off row number 11. Long way back, and here he comes. Shane Van Gisbergen, he's got the white wheels tonight, so you can't miss him. He's good. A bit of breaking news there. Not allowed to go dirt track racing anymore. What a shame that is, because he is extremely talented. There is a live look into every single one of these sim setups as we get set to go racing. The bright purple one is your championship leader. Madison Down got the virtual reality goggles. You ever give VR a go before?
No, I haven't. And I've heard that it's a very much an acquired thing. You either love it or you just can't even do it. So, no. I was actually tried the sim that I drove for MPC. We tried it with the motion off and the motion on, and I actually found it much easier with the motion on. So I guess that's what you're used to.
Okay. We both had a crack on Tom Randall's awesome simulator, which he's got set up with the big 6 motion platform going on, and I found it easy with it off. Probably because I felt like I was going to headbutt the screen going through the dipper.
That was amazing. I felt like when Richard Hammond tried the Formula 1 car on top. It was incredible.
Cool. Were you screaming like he did?
I was not screaming, but I was enjoying myself. I probably was at one stage. I think I wrote him a little memoir and said, "Oh my God."
It's pretty cool, isn't it? Well done to Tom setting that one up, working with Lee Holdsworth out there. Rumour has it he may be setting up another one, which is pretty cool.
At my house, I heard.
Yeah, bring it over to my place anytime he wants. So we're going to roll around for our reverse grid race. Anyone brave enough to have a bet on where Shane's going to finish in this one? Can he win it?
I think you can win it, for sure. I think we saw in that last race that it's not about where you qualify, it's about how smart you are, how you play the pit stops, how you manage the tyre. I took out of that little bit of interview we had with Shane.
Yep.
Really managed the tyre in the early part of both those stints. So don't look for him to charge through the field. Look for him to play the long game, I'd say. And same for our championship regulars. I think they'll probably do the same thing.
Yeah, danger is there for Josh Rogers if he gets it wrong. Definitely a chance to get caught up in someone else's incident out there as we roll to the green flag. Is Barney going to wave the green? You bet. And off we go, riding on board with Benny Smith. Jared Filsell on the outside. Not a great start for Job Stewart. He drops back into third in that Penrite racing car.
As you said in the intro to this one, Chad, a lot of fast cars off the front, so you'd expect that to spread out pretty much straight away.
Oh, in the
Coke car.
already. Yeah, Josh Anderson, one of the best on an oval, must have had a big push going through turn 2.
Everybody's going to want to go single file here as soon as possible because we knew that double file just didn't work in that last race. Is anybody brave enough to try the top this early? Gizzy just spoke about a lot of loose cannons that we had in that first race. But here they seem to be a little well behaved in the first couple of laps.
I think, Jonathan, if you're going to go to the high line, would it be the time to do it? Would it be to do it early when the tyre's fresh? Got good grip. You generate that momentum up on the high line.
And you're correct, and look who's trying the high line. Two of your quickest drivers in the E-Series, Jared Filsell and Ethan Griggault in the Shannon's Mustang.
Cool to see Ethan Griggault running back at the front of the pack. Was a Gary Rogers Motorsport driver last year with his teammate Ian Ford. Goes well in the longer races. Or just having a roll out of the throttle there for a moment in behind the Matt Stone racing car. And this is a feisty little battle pack. Grab the remote, turn it nice and loud. Wake up the neighbours if they've gone to bed. Wake the kids up. This is the sure sounds of the game. And there's big time drama with Cooper Webster sideways, backwards, and more cars piling in. And the championship leader is in it. Josh Rogers out of business. Can he get that car going once again? This will cost him points. There's chaos in the back straight at Charlotte.
I think pretty much the whole field's in that one, Chad.
It was a biggie. That was the big one, all right, and it has spread the field. And as you would believe, the Repco safety car has been deployed. Had to happen off the back of that one because there is absolute carnage out there. Probably a good safety car to catch for Josh Rogers because it'll give him a chance of getting back in this fight. It'll keep him on the lead lap as well. And that is definitely a Lenovo Savage moment. Let's see if we can unfurl exactly what happened.
This deserves 5 Lenovo Savage moments.
Oh,
it's Haber, I think.
Haber and Webster.
Into the back of Webster.
And boy, did that start it. When first and third get together, it's going to take some collateral damage. Filsell lucky to get away with that one. So too Job Stewart did a really nice job to get low. And how many cars do you reckon got involved in that? At least 12.
Where's Wally? Count them.
Amount of carnage down the back straight.
I think it's easy to count the cars that weren't in it.
That's a good point. Let's try and do that. I'm trying to think exactly who the first car was to get away with that one. Shane Van Gisbergen has gone to 9th. Watch out. Now, he definitely got through it.
This is very critical for strategy. So pit lane's closed, just like it works. Is this the Repco safety car or is it the Repco pace car? Who knows? We're in North America. I reckon everybody's got to dive into the lane now and serve their one compulsory pit stop. Now, the good news is for, what was it, Garth, 3/4 of the field, probably in that accident, they have a fast repair, so they will get a fresh new car.
Good time as we come into pit lane for our BP Ultimate Pit Stops under the Repco safety car right now. If you've got a question for Garth Tander, I'm going to queue up the Facebook Live right now. So we're going to do some live questions, but I've got to show you this first. I'm going to introduce this guy, Josh Muggleton. Now, he is a very intense character. Here he is. Is he going to blink? Watch those eyes. He likes to take in Garth as much as he possibly can. We've gone 5-10 seconds now, no blinking. It's actually starting to make my eyes water.
Talk about the intensity of it all.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
Not too bad.
Need to concentrate, Chad. Need to concentrate.
So it's about once every 20 seconds under safety car conditions. You don't want to see him under green flag conditions.
Talk about in strategy who's going to blink first. I think he'll always play the long game.
Well done. Fantastic.
This is critical now. So Griggault seems to have, has he gotten his lap back? I'm a bit confused with what's gone on there. James Golding stayed out just to get his lap back. But Job Stewart, this is not a good strategy from our youngest driver in the field. If he makes a pit stop under green flag conditions, he's going to finish a lap behind everybody else. He should have come in during this Repco safety car intervention.
All right, a reminder, if you're on Facebook Live, and that's where you're watching today on the Supercars Facebook Live, I'm going to grab some live questions to Garth Tander. We're going to go straight in with this with Tyson McAvoy. Okay, how many years he got left? Tander? That's exactly how he's written it.
I don't know, McAvoy. A couple, I'd say.
Somebody wants to know, where are your pets tonight? Because we have had Nick Percat in here with the dog. You've got some dogs?
Yes, I have 2 dogs.
Why do we never see them on Instagram?
Well, the studio, because they're dogs. The studio would be upside down if my 2 dogs would be in here. Ruby, they do have their own Instagram, actually. Ruby and Ted. Check them out.
All right, nicely done. They do have their own Instagram.
Yeah, they do. Leanne runs it.
John says, hey, Garth, what do you think about a sprint round at Bathurst to kick off the championship?
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think we used to have sprint rounds at Bathurst, I think in the mid-90s, before I started in the championship. So a long time since we've had that. It would definitely, we always talk about the intensity of the 1,000-kilometre race in that final stint. So a sprint race would be just that final stint from the get-go. Yep. So the intensity would be up. It's not easy to pass at Bathurst, so you have to make it happen. So in a sprint race format, the elbows would be up a lot more.
Alrighty. Garth, if you were not running, I'll get one more in here. If you're not running in Supercars or Aussie GT, which series would you like to have a race in around the world? Because never got the chance to see you out there doing much around the world.
I'd like to go do some GT racing overseas.
Oh.
That'd be pretty cool.
Nice. GT and GT.
Macau?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Macau, there you go. That'd be a hard street.
Macau would be difficult. I'd like to go do the Spa 24-hour race. That would be a very cool race.
There we go. Let's get a campaign going to get Garth to Spa.
Great segue, because we're going there.
Yes.
Hey.
Well done, Garth. Okay, Job Stewart's in a world of trouble. He is leading us back to the green flag, and the poor kid hasn't pitted yet.
Should he have stopped, Jonathan? Even, you would have been at the back of the pack, but still take that pit stop now.
100%. He's going to fall a lap behind if he pits under green flag conditions.
Poor buddy. Brady Myers is going to get us probably back to the lead of this race then, once at some point Job Stewart decides to pit. There he is from Mount Gambier in South Australia, and he leads us back to the green flag, and he's going to lead his first lap in the eSeries. Unfortunately, it couldn't be in better conditions. He's led a few of them under safety car conditions. Let's see how far Shane Van Gisbergen can climb here. He currently sits 11th at the moment.
And that is supposed to be Brady Myers there in the Pioneer DJ car, loaded in the wrong car, just like Brody Kostecki did back at Bathurst. And he could sail into the lead around the outside.
Working the top. He's got his teammate in Josh Muggleton for company as well. Tries to get low on Job Stewart. Couldn't quite work that one out. Stewart scored in 3rd at the moment, but at some stage we'll have to come in and pit.
So it's easy to get excited at this restart. We always talk about safety cars, breeding safety cars. So it's easy to get excited and use the tyre up, but they've taken that compulsory stop so much earlier that we saw in race 1 earlier. Really, they're going to have to manage the tyre. Really going to have to manage the tyre. And whoever does the best job of that, still have 26 to go. Whoever does the best job of that over the next 26 laps is going to who comes out on top at the end of this one.
Yeah, well, there was no chance to take that late stop and be the man with 5 laps to go and have definitely the precious rubber out there. So it's a really good point. And if there's one guy who knows how to get the tyres to last the journey, it's going to be Shane Van Gisbergen. That will be his ace up the sleeve.
And Job Stewart should be about 1 second a lap slower, and that's why he's being absolutely gobbled up by the field. He's down to 9th, and I'm surprised he survived, because everybody would have swamped him. It would have been quite overwhelming to have all these screaming supercars around you.
Erebus ran their own eSeries comp on the weekend, so cool to see Betty Clemenco's team really embracing the next generation of drivers coming through. That's how Job got into their academy, which is pretty cool as well. He's part of the junior academy doing the Toyota 86s, actually in the car that Jake Burton used to race. So another one of their future stars to watch out for. Who knows, they could have a very different looking driver lineup in IRL, as we like to say, in real life next year in the 2021 Repco Supercars Championship.
So everybody is on the lead lap except for Andrew Gilliam, and Jackson Suzlin-Harlow in second last has fallen off the pack, and he's being eaten up here by around about, well, he was 5 seconds a lap slower last time around. I think his day's done. It looks like he's got too much damage to that car. And has he used the fast repair? If he used it once, he can't use it twice. There's only one available.
Dane Warren in a good position to get some points back here today. Josh Rogers, his teammate, down in 16th. Would have got that fast repair, so a chance to drive his way back through the pack. It'd be just his luck this year, get involved in an accident, get the safety car, get the fast repair. Sometimes when things are working out for you, they're just doing everything nicely.
Yeah, when it rolls your way, but still 20 odd to go, and there's a lot still to play out as we see two cars well below the blue line.
Would you believe it? It's the 97 and the 17. We've seen that once or twice this year.
Yeah.
Oh, again. Shane, hang on to it. What a save!
What a save!
That
See
was
the
awesome.
hands.
Virtual hands all over the place. He's going to lose a few spots, but damn, that was save of the night. That was save of the series so far from Shane van Gisbergen.
You know what wasn't saved? His underpants.
They are virtually in a bit of a condition right now. Going about 3 wide further back. You know it, that's a Lenovo Savage moment right there. I love it, the 97 and the 17 together again. It's just a perfect marriage, isn't it, these two cars? Whoa.
It was just as he got into the back of the 17 and checked up that little bit.
Yep.
Someone into the back of Shane, caught it, moved on.
Plus, he's driving from over in New Zealand as well, so remember there's potentially just that little bit of extra distance to worry about. Harley Haber going Seiko fastest lap again, just like he did last time out. 140,000 capacity at Charlotte. It should be wicked to see racetracks full again. Virtually, we get to see it tonight.
They grabbed some of those seats off the demolished Charlotte Coliseum, which held NBA games for the Charlotte Hornets and many other major sports.
It's like some of the Thunderdome seats that have been donated out to different places as well.
With the grass still in them?
Pretty cool. We did see that the Kellys did that pretty cool thing driving the Nissan around the Thunderdome. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, the Thunderdome now, it's a shame that it's sort of fallen into a state of somewhat disrepair because you can't really run a quick car around there because, yeah, no one's really run a supercar around there properly. No, it'd be very cool to do. It'd be very, very cool.
When Rick Kelly ran it, all you could hear was the ride height.
Yeah.
I think they would have raised the ride height about
jack her up
50 mil. Probably couldn't get it high enough.
Oh, Shane's going. And again, he catches it. And he is a talent. Doesn't matter if it's virtually or not. The car control that guy has. Just so calm when he needs to pick up the throttle. Add a bit of opposite lock. Halfway home. Race number 13. It's going to be unlucky for someone in this pack. You get the feeling it's building once again, and there'll be no fast repairs from this point onwards, like Jonathan mentions.
Still plenty of time in this race as we see Blacklock exit the lane. That was awfully close. You can't rejoin, obviously, until those blue cones that you just saw. But for your Brad Jones racing cars, Burton's down in 13th, Madison down in 19th, Jackson Suzulanalo is pretty much out of contention, many, many laps down. I think he's actually retired that car potentially. But Jake Burton just scored his best performance of the season and his first podium of the season. But he's still got time here. He climbs another position. Remember, he started from 22nd from the back.
Harley Haber back in the pit, so damage to the Matt Stone racing car. That's a shame. Had a good starting position for this one and couldn't quite capitalise on it. Josh Rogers has got himself inside the top 10, so moving forward. His racecraft on the ovals paying off as well. He's going to do a bit of VRS racing as well tomorrow night, so back in that GT Championship. They run 2 by 2 by 2 through the D-shaped oval. Josh Anderson's fighting back into this one as well in the Coke car. Remember, he was in the wall lap 1, turn 2. So he's back in this fight.
What you see a lot of them do is they're driving pretty smooth right now. The sim doesn't react to tyre temperatures that well, or I should say to sliding that well. So if you get your tyre temperatures up a little bit too hot, it just gets exponentially worse and worse as the stint progresses. So when you saw Shane van Gisbergen sliding around, the best thing you can do is just cool the tyres down for a lap and then go full speed.
On board with Jordan Caruso, I believe that is at the back of Cooper Webster. That's the Repco car. Shane van Gisbergen to his right. There he goes in the white wheels.
Seeing the outside line in this one for whatever reason, running a bit faster, being able to stay with that inside line, even sort of push by. And I think that's because there's sort of 3 cars up in that high line. They're able to bump draft each other and keep the momentum up as they run up that high line. It's a further distance, obviously. When you run high, you've got to go travel further distance, so that's why it always seems that little bit slower. But if you can get momentum going, it can work for you.
And you see what happened to Warren. So he was ahead coming out of 4, but then across the finish line, Phil Sell ducked underneath him for the lead. So this will be another glimpse of what the final lap could look like. So they're alongside each other, but who's actually going to cross the line first? Right now, it's the bottom, but as Garth said, it could be the top at the end of the race. Warren's given up the top.
They're all fighting for the bottom now. They all realise they want to be on the bottom.
Yeah, definitely harder to get around the top than it was at Michigan last week, where there were multiple lines. It's going to be a wrestling contest for that bottom as they all duck down onto the apron once again.
And Garth, how strong is the side draft in the real car?
Very, very strong, the side draft in the real car. It's almost more effective than the traditional draft.
Wow.
Getting stuck along from the side draft. So you want to get to the rear quarter panel, and then you can stay nice and close and just basically pull yourself along the side of the car, and hence the term side draft. Does it work well in the sim, the side draft?
I'd like to think it does.
Down the back straight once again.
At least when I tried it at Charlotte, it seemed to help me pass a few cars.
So Shane's now got the moral dilemma. He's running behind his teammate, who's in the championship, but he wants to win the race. So clearly you want to win the race from the back of the grid. So what do? Do you back your teammate in, or do you go for gold?
We saw what he did last week, helped Phil Sell to victory, pushed him over the line at Michigan, and he actually nabbed second himself from Job Stewart, snatched victory from the young man. It was a heartbreaking story.
Now remember, we did get a fairly lengthy Repco safety car. I feel like it should be a Repco pace car since we're at Charlotte tonight, which may cause us to go a little bit short. So might not pay to be too patient if you're in this front pack. Need to get to the front quickly. And the Red Bull cars are working together. Right when you need a wingman, here comes Shane Van Gisbergen. He's already got a win tonight, so he might be feeling friendly. He certainly helped Jared Filso last week, pushed him to the win at Michigan for the opening race. Can he do it tonight?
That Walkinshaw car of Dane Warren's looking strong, though. He's running up that high line by himself, not really got any help. There's 4 or 5 cars running that low line, all bump drafting each other, but Warren can stay up there. He can stay up there and stay with Jared Filsell.
And Josh Rogers in 10th, our championship leader. Now, with that result in the first race, the championship's going down to next week, but these are still critical points. Phil Sell's going to outscore him. So is Dane Warren. So is Cooper Webster, Jordan Caruso. They're all outscoring your championship leader.
He's in this pack, though, which is important. He's definitely going to get one more spot because poor Job Stewart is yet to pit.
Should come in now.
Here he comes.
Here he is.
Yep. So finally had to bring that car down pit road, as we'd say in North Carolina. And what a shame that is, because he was having a really good run in that front pack. So the Red Bulls working together down the back stretch at Charlotte, past the 60-metre TV screen. Jared Filsell might just be able to get back to the front here, once again with his teammate Shane Van Gisbergen doing the pushing. Richard Hampstead inside the top 5 for Tickford, but shaping up as a Red Bull Racing versus Walkinshaw Andretti United fight. They've just about got rid of that Walkinshaw car. Rogers trying to reel himself into his teammate, but he's just too far back. And it might look like potentially Warren's lost some of that momentum as Van Gisbergen gets a wicked side draft off him, gets another one.
Well, they're both getting side drafts off each other. I was going to say, Shane's trying to move Warren up the track, but that was pretty graphic evidence of that, wasn't it, heading into turn 3?
He bullied him out of the way.
So just trying to make Warren travel more distance effectively, and then a bit more graphically just shoved him up the high line into 3 that previous lap.
Tell you what, wouldn't mind Shane Van Gisbergen on a night out, because he is quite the wingman. Check this out. He is just fending off everybody from getting to the back of that 38.
This is like Grease. Whack.
Yeah. Just going to put the big spikes on the wheels. So
Warren's not done. Warren's not done. He's got good speed up the top there. He's making that work.
These are precious, precious points for Warren. He needs to stay there. We believe 2 laps to go, could be 3, depending on when we get to that white flag lap. Remember, very hard to tell with such short laps, 31 seconds. It's not like a 2-minute lap around Mount Panorama. So what time will we get to the time certain? 2 or 3 laps roughly to go. The Red Bulls still sitting 1-2 at the front.
This could be the final lap this time around. I think it's getting very, very close, but the pace they're running this lap, they're very slow. And as they cross the line, I reckon this is white flag right now. Final lap.
It's going to be the final lap this time by. Can Dane Warren do it? He's got an awesome run on the top. Cooper Webster wrestling 4th now. off Richard Hampstead. The Seiko 5 car on for a top 5. Rogers out the back of this battle pack trying to pick up some scraps as well. Last time through 3 and 4. Van Gisbergen pushing Warren up the track. He's been an awesome wingman. And he's going to lean on the side of that car. He might just have done enough to get his teammate back to the front, and Red Bull Racing will go 1-2 tonight. How about that from Shane Van Gisbergen from last to second, and fends away everyone with a don't argue on the front straight to get his teammate to victory lane tonight. Well done, Jared Filsell. Sip of Red Bull right on cue. Straight out of the playbook. And your team tonight, Garth, on a roll, 2 from 2.
Good night to be in the box, for sure. The Red Bull car's running strong. Great for Jared Filsell. Had a good run, and obviously Shane had a great run. I thought Dane Warren did an awesome job in that race, though, running that high line, stayed with it, and tried to make it work and almost got there.
How cool was that? Jared Filsell getting the win tonight on your Repco race score. Cooper Webster, nice job inside the top 5. Richard Hampstead and Tickford doing a really good job there as well. Josh Anderson, Team Sydney inside the top 10. Josh Rogers losing a few points to Jared Filsell, but still the championship looking relatively calm for him.
Believe it or not, 1.5 tenths is the largest gap we've had in an oval finish this season. As we saw Forza Nabi, who struggled around the ovals, finished 11th. Down the back of the pack as well, our championship leader Josh Rogers in 10th. That's critical as well. And these were a few drivers who fell into trouble, from Blacklock to Black Hall, a commentator's nightwear to James Golding. Yeah, they were wrecking alphabetically tonight. Nice of them to help us out there. Cooper Webster at the front of this race on your Repco highlights led us to the green flag at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Josh Anderson in the fence early in the Coca-Cola car, the track where they run the Coca-Cola 600. Coming through the back of the pack, we had Shane Van Gisbergen, and this wild moment at the front. Job Stewart involved, got away with it, but it took multiple cars out. Harley Haber, unlucky to be involved. Ethan Grigol, probably the unluckiest of all of them in the Shannon's insurance car, and then pile on they did. Josh Anderson involved in that one, as well as your championship leader, Josh Rogers. It was a separate wreck ahead, I reckon, as well. I'm not sure how related it was, but there was certainly a lot of cars involved. Here's Shane Van Gisbergen with Surely Save of the Year. Maybe we should be sponsored by Shaw for the Shaw Save of the Year. That was pretty cool. That was as close as you can get. That got down on the apron. That was Kyle Busch-esque, that save, on the apron, Daytona style. And then for the rest of the race, he played wingman, literally fending off anyone who got near the 38. He was willing to use the bumpers, the fenders, anything. He was aggressively blocking his teammate today to help him get to the front of the pack and cross the checkered flag. First position tonight for the 38 and Jared Filsell, and picking up another race win, and picking up where he left off last year when he was second in the championship driving at Walkinshaw. And how about this? Teammates taking each other out NASCAR style after the checkered flag. Well done to Jared Filsell. We're going to cue him up as well for a little bit of a chat right now. Hey, mate, congratulations. I think you may owe your teammate a Red Bull off the back of that one.
I owe him a lot, actually. He played rear gunner for me there, so he did the team job last week as well, which was cool. Unfortunately, race 1 didn't go to plan for me. I just got caught up in another incident, unfortunately, so I couldn't help him out there. But at least we won both oval races, which is good. We'll see how we go at Spa.
You guys worked very nicely together just then to bring it home for a 1-2, but Spa is a very different story. You're not going to have your wingman for that one.
No, he's had a few too many sherbets, I think, and it's almost his bedtime. So I think he might stick around for a few laps and see how we go.
Sneaking a bit too much into the Red Bull tonight. Well done. Congratulations on the race win. Good to chat to you again, buddy. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
All right, let's cue up Dane Warren as well, who has fended off. Your thoughts on that one, Dane? You got the short back and sides from Shane Van Gisbergen on that one, mate.
Oh, it's so frustrating. I was really eyeing off that win as our first. We had a brilliant run, being able to avoid the couple accidents at the start, so can't really complain too much. We made a lot of points ground over Madison, so we'll just come to Spa and see what we can do.
All right, best of luck. I want to see have a crack at your teammate for the win, mate, so go get him.
Yep, we'll do.
All right.
Cheers, guys.
They're going to be starting very close to each other at the front of the grid. If you reckon you can do all this, if you reckon you'll be all right on iRacing, well, this is your chance to get involved, because BP Ultimate are going to pick one lucky fan to be a part of their BP Ultimate Race to Win competition. This is really cool. You could be the best performer. Go and set a lap around Mount Panorama on iRacing, And you could be handpicked to drive the entire 2021 Pro eSeries for the BP Ultimate Supercars team. There's also a $500 gift card up for grabs from our friends at BP. So that's a really cool. Go and check that comp out online. And you could be doing this next year. All right, we're off to Spa next. Don't go anywhere.
Repco Supercars Pro eSeries, proudly brought to you by Coin. Be part of where the world is going.
Hi, Steve's, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts. From the outside, who would know what lies beneath? Unleash it with a machine as savage as you are.
This is how legends are made.
Lenovo Legion. Stylish outside, savage inside.
Hi, Steve's, thanks.
Good choice. That'd be $52.99, thanks.
Thanks.
Repco, it starts with the parts.
The Repco Supercars Pro eSeries, proudly brought to you by Coin. Be part of where the world is going.
Into the circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, one of the most iconic, historic circuits on the planet. So we're going to begin the lap here at Formula One's Turn 1, which is actually our final corner today. And we're going to get the best run coming out of here. And on towards Eau Rouge, which should help stop a bit of the carnage at the start, starting on this pit straight. Easy to cut the track into Eau Rouge. We saw 4 of 10 drivers in our All-Stars E-Series. Their laps were invalidated during the shootout for track limits on the exit. It was insane. And on towards the Kemmel Straight. A lot of fans on the left-hand side. The famous scene of Michael Schumacher and Mika Hakkinen making their way around the outside of Ricardo Zonta. One of the best overtakes in motorsport history. And into Les Combes, sacrifice the exit so you set up the entry into Malmedy, the highest point of the circuit of 102 meters of elevation change. Downhill braking zone into Rivage. Point the car at the apex. And you've got to be so patient, so gentle on the throttle on the exit because it's still downhill. And then into No Name. Jackie Ick's corner, Speaker's corner. Who knows what its names? There's too many names here for the amount of corners at Spa. And then on towards Pouon, as Chad Nalon described once. It's a little like the Southern Loop, except downhill. Onto the Fania chicane, which is a lot more interesting than it actually looks. You want to hug the curb on the inside because the track dips there, and that's where you find the most lap time. It's an ever so slight bit of camber that helps you be fast around Spa. Dip 2 wheels on the curb to open up the line into Stavelot, and on the exit into Curb Paul Frere. It's like you're having an endless tug-of-war match with the racetrack, not to understeer off. the car just doesn't want to steer through there, in whatever car you're in, and then have a listen to this through the beautiful Blanchimont. Screaming towards the chicane, which has been remodeled over the years. Tough to spot your brake marker off camber, so it's easy to lose the rear end. And here's the famous scene of where Shane Van Gisbergen and Anton de Pasquale collided in the opening race in the All-Stars eSeries. Onto La Source. Try not to carry too much mustard into La Source. Gentle on the power on the exit. Pit entry to the right where Lando Norris Austin Powers it in the All-Stars eSeries and parked sideways there. Blocked the pit entrance, and that's a lap of the elegant Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps.
I love it. Nicely done, Jonathan Simon, getting the Lando reference in after he brilliantly parked it on the pit entrance and managed to annoy everyone in our Pro E-Series. Since you did that so well, you can talk us through the Repco race facts as well, because this is going to be interesting. Fuel is going to be the talking point.
Yeah, for the first time all series, the drivers are going to begin the race with 50 litres of fuel in the tank, which means they'll need to take 25.3 at a minimum in their pit stop, much like Monza. Now, the critical lap is lap 1 of the event. The drivers can come in, fill the car to the end, but will you make it to the end on tyres? Because it's a 14-lap event. The lap is longer than Bathurst. It's the longest lap of the season here around Spa. That pit stop we're expecting to take over half a minute to serve, and that window opens from laps 5 to 9. It's an optional window. I don't expect anyone to run longer than lap 9 because the tank will not make it past that point.
Excellent. All right, let's get into our coin pole award then. And once again, he's back. Not quite 0.2 of a second, just about 1/10 of a second over his teammate today. Josh Rogers gets another coin pole award. What's that, Jonathan? 6 on the year so far, I think that is. So $3,000 worth of digital currency already, thanks to coin. He's just clocking up the prize money already. Well done to Walkinshaw Andretti United. He's taken every single one of the circuit racing coin pole awards in the season so far. Garth, our very own Scott McLaughlin, actually.
That's a fair run of qualifying, isn't it?
Not bad at all. So he'll be the first car out on our Seiko 5 starting grid, as you can imagine. Once again, he's got his teammate there. And Dane Warren, we want to see him have a crack in this one in the middies car to try and sneak up there alongside his teammate. BJR All Row 2, so 1, 2 and 3 in the championship, sitting 1, 2 and 3 in this motor race today. Cooper Webster having a really good run at the moment, done a lot of laps this week. He'll be starting 5th. Josh Anderson and Team City alongside Jake Burton on the Brad Jones racing car. Richard Hamstead for Tickford. Ben Smith, you guessed it, for Kelly Racing. Cool to have them there as well. Every single Supercars team is in the field this year, which is a huge up on last year. Well done to all the Supercars team for getting involved. And non-Supercars teams as well, like the Repco team and also the Jans team, which is where we find the Pioneer DJ car. Job Stewart for Erebus, further back. Position 17 for Car 17, Sam Blacklock, alongside Emily Jones, the only female in the field. Ethan Grigault out of 19th. Josh Muggleton, not blinking tonight, but it's not slowing him down, out of 20th. Jake Blackhall, 21st in the Rainbow Warrior car. On the back row of the grid, alongside James Golding. And it's now officially past Shane Van Gisbergen's bedtime, so he's not joining us for this one. Although Josh Rogers, early morning in Germany, he's there, not too far away from where we're racing here in this one.
And a downhill start. Look out for the start here. It could cause some chaos.
All right, got to ride the clutch and get ready to launch it down towards Eau Rouge. And we're green and racing for the first time we're racing at Spa in the Pro E-Series. And it's a Walkinshaw Andretti United 1-2 down into Eau Rouge and then climbing the top onto the Famel Camel Straight, and there's going to be some slipstreaming games down here. Cooper Webster looking fast early. He's split the 2 Brad Jones racing cars. He's going for the side draft.
Those Walkinshaw Andretti cars both off the line very, very strongly. Got a good run up through Eau Rouge. So that's important not to be fighting there, because that means you can concentrate on your exit and not have to worry about it getting slipstreamed.
Trouble at the top of the hill through Lacombe and up to Malmedy, and there goes Ben Smith backwards, around and out of action.
Richard
what a shame.
Hamstead involved too as well. So one of the Tickford cars.
They had pretty good qualifying positions too. They did a good job in coin qualifying. Side by side, and off the road goes Jared Filsell. Try to use the muscle on Jackson Suzlin Harlow, and that was a good save. Only lost the 1 spot. Might have some steering damage, and the elation of winning that last race didn't last for long. Not easy to pull these things up on the grass.
No, I mean, it's very much like the real thing. Once they get away from you, it's 1,500 kilos of race car, so it doesn't matter if it's in the real world or in the virtual world. They do take some catching. But both Rogers and Warren now really actually starting to open up that gap on Madison Down, just managing the car straight into it. I mean, Jonathan talked about it in the preview about managing the tyre, looking after the tyre, opening up that window. You want to go as long as you can into that fuel window so that the back half of the race you've got strong tyres. So you'll need to manage the tyre from lap 1.
And a great point as well, because with such a long lap, the lighter you run this car, it can save you vital tenths across the lap.
Certainly talking to this guy in the Cup Cadet car this week, he said that was going to be the key. Save what you can, and it might help in the pit stop to reduce your stationary time by 1 to 2 seconds. So that's the goal.
It's easier to pass them in the pits than it is on the racetrack. So anything you can do, like say, save a bit of fuel so that you're not putting so much back in the tank, you can manage all that through on your dash effectively in these cars in iRacing. And I found that really interesting when I was doing it, just how much you can manage the car, how much you can manage the fuel, manage your pit stop, all while you're racing the car. It's very cool.
Some drivers even have multiple screens that they use, so they may have 3 screens of vision to give you that wraparound effect. They may also have extra screens just for the data.
I might be wrong, but Shane Van Gisbergen runs 3 screens, but he only drives with the middle. He's got data on the left and right screens, but I don't know if he's changed that. He had that during the E-Series, or the All-Stars E-Series we ran earlier in the year.
Farther back in the field, as Ethan Griggold swings by in the Shannon's insurance car down the Camel Straight. The Jeff Gordon car looks slightly out of place now.
It does look a little out of place at Spa. I don't think they've seen the Rainbow Warriors at Spa before.
No. I reckon it would have been a track that he would have gone okay at. He, speaking of Jeff Gordon, has nothing to do with this E-Series apart from that livery, of course, but would have been a pretty good circuit racer since he was so good on the circuits in NASCAR. Much like Chase Elliott of the modern day.
You might be wondering why we're running that start-finish line at Spa, but the drivers opted for it, and they do like it because it invites less carnage on the run to La Source, which is what Formula One use in Grand Prix racing, whereas we use the run down to Eau Rouge, which is 230 metres, and you saw a much cleaner getaway off the line for our championship contenders.
Okay, good chance to see here if Cooper Webster's going to be trying to save any fuel. Listen to the throttle on this Sure Sounds the Game. Through Eau Rouge, over the hill through Radion. What a cool part of the world that is. 27 metres of elevation change in the one corner. Garth, was he saving fuel?
No,
or was he
it
racing?
sounded like there's a lot of fuel saving going on there. It sounded like a whole lot of I'm in 4th and I want to be in 3rd going on. So, yeah, really running, you know, trying to get a run as we came up to what is the old bus stop. He was trying to get a run through there, but obviously Down was blocking. So, really, I think if you're Cooper Webster, if you can't get past, you know, you have a lap or two to have a real crack at getting past. But if you can't get past, start saving fuel. If you're not going to get past, Madison Down's going to block every opportunity to pass. So you might as well be saving fuel, because you can stay where you are, but you'll be better off in the pits, maybe passing in the pits when you're taking on less fuel because you've saved some.
And hearing from race control that Harley Haber has been given a drive-through. And that'll be, I imagine, for what happened down there on lap 1 at the end of the Kemmel Straight at Le Combe. For avoidable contact.
There's been a common denominator this series to a lot of the contact. And there's been a lot of drivers who have caused a lot of that. It seems to be the same ones week to week that you speak to the drivers during the week, and it certainly doesn't help their mood when they enter these rounds. It doesn't help when they race some of them.
We even found that in the All-Star E-Series. It was always the ones who spent all week practicing and trying. Scott Pye talked about it last week. The racing might not be real, but the competition in the effort is.
Oh, yeah. And, like, you can chat amongst each other while you're racing, and the chat is full on. Like, it is, man, it's just as well they don't link the radios up in the real race cars, because if that's what it sounded like when we were doing the E-Series, then holy smokes, yeah, it was on. There was no chance, no worries about telling someone what you thought, that's for sure.
Some Seiko 5 telemetry right now to see exactly what he's doing inside the car and the speeds that he's pulling. So first gear through the chicane. How fast do you reckon a supercar can go through Eau Rouge? If you've ever wondered, we're about to find out. So we're going up to La Source. Do we go back to first up here, Jonathan? Let's find out. Yes, sir.
Interesting.
Rear's dancing a little bit there. Okay, grab some gears. Do we get to sixth by the time we get down to Eau Rouge? It's all downhill down here. Fastest corner in World Motorsport coming up. Fifth gear, 254.
Oh, and down to 211 at the lowest.
That is a fast part of the racetrack.
So that's very similar to Turn 1 at Phillip Island, 211, 210, 212 k an hour is minimum speed, Turn 1 Phillip Island. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting, isn't it? If you can compare our racetracks here in Australia to one of the greatest racetracks that are in the world at Spa, how a supercar would go around it. I don't know if it would correlate totally with the race car, but it seems very similar. The running that I've done on iRacing in the supercar, the speeds and the feel seem very similar to the real life.
You should see the first drivers dive into the lane this lap for their one compulsory pit stop. It'll be a long way home. So we know Harley Haber's entered, but that was for a drive-through, so he's still yet to complete a CPS as it's defined in the rules. Job Stewart and Richard Hampstead have completed their compulsory pit stop, but they're miles off the pace due to damage as well. But it's going to be critical that the pit time is what we're looking for. 10.2, 10.7 seconds at a minimum. Any lower than that, and I think some of these drivers will struggle to make it home.
Like they did last week.
And
including this guy. Yeah.
Josh Anderson.
Yeah. He tried to save about a can of Coke's worth of fuel with that pit stop. Did not work out. He needed a refill. Gave it a crack though. And had he got a late safety car, would have helped as well. That'd be a risky strategy.
That's a risky, yeah. So just tend to get a fair bit of field spread at these bigger tracks like Spa. It's always funny when you're trying to, with strategy and fuel use, you always want to put the minimum amount in. But when you run out, it's definite, you're out. Yeah, whereas if you put that little bit extra, yes, the car's heavier, but you will get to the end. So you've always got to err on the side of caution when you're doing this sort of thing, when you're talking about the critical number for fuel. You're better off to put that extra can of Coke in it. Well, I should say an extra can of Red Bull, to be honest.
Yep.
Well done. And you're going to get to the line. Whereas if you go a can short, you DNF, instant DNF.
Yep, in the pot and out of the pot. And that's Ethan Grigul down there at the chicane having a fair old crack at Brady Myers. Good to see DJ Braids has got the right livery back on with the Pioneer DJ car. A cool looking race car. I've always said we need more pink race cars.
Good stuff from Ethan Grigul. Race 14 of the championship. He's been taken out in 11 of the 14 races. And I'm not looking forward to seeing how this one goes.
Is that true?
It is exactly true.
Wow.
He'd love that stat.
That's a hell of a stat. 11 out of the 14 races he's been taken out.
I think 10 at least. There was one round where I think he had an internet disconnection.
Right.
So maybe that one doesn't count.
The old internet. Here he is.
That's like an ignition failure in a race car, isn't it?
Either way, it's a DNF, isn't it? Had a spark issue on that one. Electrical gremlins for the night. Famously, we had the Gary Jacobson.
I was going to say, well, didn't we have a good Gary Jacobson one? Mum turned the kettle on.
Yeah. And that was too much for the
shut down all the electricity in Shepparton.
He was leading at the time. The one race he was leading, of course. Yeah.
And not to make too many Josh Muggleton references, but no one's blinked and entered the pit lane.
How is Blink Cam going tonight? Before we get into the pit stops, he was, what was it, 20 seconds at Charlotte? I'll have the stopwatch ready just in case we get back to any point tonight. All right.
People aren't going to believe us, but it was 50 to 55 seconds.
Let's see. Here we go. I have started the stopwatch now. When is this man going to blink? The concentration is amazing. We're up to 10 seconds already, and my eyes are watering. There it is. Not too bad. Not too bad. Probably because he's got no one around him at the moment, so bit of a leisurely Sunday drive at the moment for Josh Muggleton. One of the coolest looking cars in the field, loving the bright green wheels.
That corner he just went through, the Fania chicane, you can't really see it. It's a little like the Southern Loop, Garth. on the apex, there's about a couple of degrees of camber, which is why you need to hug the curb to go quick through there.
I love how iRacing have been able to capture the subtleties of all the racetracks. Like when we raced at Kota, the curbs were identical. The way the cars behaved and jumped over the curbs, it was identical to when we raced there in 2013. So iRacing do such a fantastic job of capturing the essence of what makes these racetracks so good.
And at Kota, they spent 2 years of man hours, I think, designing and building that circuit on the sim, and it was all laser scanned. Incredible stuff by iRacing.
So cool to have 3 Aussie tracks in the game.
Yeah, well,
as
that's what a lot of people ask. Why aren't there more Aussie tracks on iRacing? It's simply because of the investment required to build an iRacing track. There's a big commitment to get one built.
Jake Burton's having a very good look at iRacing's pit lane for Spa at the moment because he is in for his BP Ultimate pit stop. He brings Emily Jones, Brady Myers, James Golding, all in with him.
Hopefully no one Austin Powers or Orlando Norris is it.
Yep.
On pit entry, parks it sideways.
That was fun, having him a part of the eSeries for that night. Made the top 10 shootout and gave it away going through Radion at the very start of the lap. That'll be a talking point in this one. Track limits does count, and you do pick up incident points. 17 points only for this one, so they've reduced that from 25. So watch out at the end of the race for that.
Yeah, we saw that at IndyCar one year at the Circuit of the Americas. We're just speaking about it. They didn't really bother about track limits at the final 2 corners there, and it just looked a little ridiculous. And I think our race director, James Cowan, has done a good job with that, just reducing it down to 17 to stop the drivers from abusing track limits. Now, there's 4 pit stops for Jake Burton, Emily Jones, Brady Myers, and James Golding, all about that 13 to 14 second range. I think that's clear enough to make it to the end on fuel.
If we see someone with about a 10-second pit stop, that's when we know that they're in the danger zone, like we saw last week at Monza. Monza, a very thirsty racetrack with all those big, long throttle sections. Fair, this has got some pretty flat-out points of it as well.
Who's going to be brave and try to undercut with a shorter pit stop? Well, if save the fuel.
If you're Dane Warren at the moment, you could try the undercut 2 different ways. One, you would have saved some fuel sitting in behind him, plus there's also the actual undercut on the tyre.
And back at Silverstone for round 1, Dane Warren actually used more fuel compared to his teammate, which was what actually resulted in about a half a second longer pit stop. He said he's gotten rid of those issues with his driving styles. Now, he's not a right foot braker, at least not on the sim. And so right foot brakers obviously generally tend to use less fuel.
Yep, 100%. So if I was Dane Warren, I'd be, 100% trying to stay as close as he could to Josh Rogers and using as least fuel as possible to do it. Because that's the only way you're going to pass him. Josh, we know how good he is in sim racing. He's the benchmark. So how are you going to pass him? How do you do it? You're not going to do it on track. You've got to beat him, use less fuel. You've got to out-strategize him.
Gap is 1.1 seconds. He needs to find that much fuel in the tank with 1 pit stop in this race. Plenty of pit stops going on right now. Talking to the drivers, everyone tipped Richard Hampstead to be the best when it comes to saving fuel.
Okay.
Unfortunately for Richard, he was taken out lap 1. Just his luck.
This will be a long BP Ultimate pit stop, like we said, 13 to 14 seconds.
Oh, Webster's got him. So there you go. That is the advantage of sitting behind someone right there. He was behind Madison Down that whole stint, got him in the pits. But similar to passing someone just before DRS, Madison Down might be able to have a crack at him straight away. He's in the tow, and the tow is pretty big in iRacing. And he's also got Jake Burton in a hurry in the background with tyre temps already up to scratch. And that second of the BJR car is not going to help when they get up to Lecom.
The tyres last 4 or 5 laps here before they give up or plateau. And then everybody's pretty much going to have the same tyres. So Burton's on the back foot here for the next 4 laps of this race. He's got to use the draft to keep in with these 2 up ahead.
Webster's done a good job here because he's managed to, obviously they both come out of the pits on cold tyres, but Madison Down's going to reverse that pass coming out of the pits. You need to get it done straight away. You need to do it straight out of the pits. So Burton wasn't able to capitalise on his hot tyres and get past neither Webster or Down on this outlap. But they'll both now have enough tyre temp to get on with it and then start to exploit that fresh tyre that they have over him. So sort of a double whammy for Josh Burton. He he didn't get the track position, and now his tyres are older, so they're just going to see these two guys drive away.
Now, last week, you remember, Chad, on the first lap, Dane Warren had a slowdown penalty, and he wasn't able to attack his teammate Rogers. This week, it's different. He's within 1.1 seconds, and Rogers had the slowest pit stop of the entire field last week. Will we see the same again? And how it works is the driver can actually, if they don't have a spotter, they can actually set the fuel themselves, and then they have to disengage it if they do it manually. Here they come in and they abuse the cone like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, Josh Rogers on the absolute maximum down there. So are we going to see a change for the lead? I'm going to tip yes. I think Dane Warren has pocketed some fuel.
Chad's gone with the big call.
We'll see if it's going to pay off for me today.
I wish I could bet your Seiko 5 watch on that, mate.
Let's find out. The race off pit road between the two Walkinshaw Andretti United teammates, and where do they pop out in conjunction to Cooper Webster.
Well, this is also a reaction to Cooper Webster. They've seen he's pitted. They're worried about an undercut with him on fresh tyres.
They had a fair gap to him as well, so they didn't want to chance it. And which car is that first away comfortably? The 25. Not even close.
No watch for you, Chad.
No watch for me today.
Do I get one?
How did he have a longer pit stop? Dane Warren had a longer pit stop than Josh Rogers. How does that work out?
Yeah, Dane Warren had a 15-second pit stop. Rogers 14.8. Other drivers have left less on the table. I think they've had a buffer to go safe on fuel, which is why they've probably done that.
They definitely lost. I mean, Warren's definitely lost ground to Rogers through that to Webster through that pit stop cycle.
He had the longest pit stop in the top 10.
Yeah.
So that did not work out at all for Dane Warren.
And I think Phil Sell will come in this lap and succumb the lead, or sacrifice the lead for better words, and he can't make a pass lap 8 or 9 based on fuel, so he'll be running the tank empty at the moment, which is good for him.
Well, this would be cool to see what kind of pace Cooper Webster's got. 17-year-old from a little place called Wallen in Victoria. And he is going to be putting the pressure now on the back of these Walkinshaw Andretti United cars. We didn't get to see what his pace was truly like before the pit stops because he was tucked in behind the BJR car.
Yeah, that's right. He was stuck in traffic, so he looked like he was faster than Burt. Just couldn't find a way through. So he did exactly what we thought he was might do and get the pass done in the pit stop. And he was able to do that. Very nearly, undercut Dane Warren as well. So now has good track position and needs to get to the back of that Walkinshaw Andretti United car coming off Lassource hairpin. A good run through Eau Rouge and then use the toe up the Kemmel Straight, see if we can get it done under brakes. You've got to start setting up your pass half a lap, 3/4 a lap prior to when you want to actually do it.
Arthur, you were a big fan of peaking in a braking zone and not actually going for the move? You know what I'm talking about there?
Showing the nose?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I generally try not to show where I'm going to pass. So I don't fake, I don't half look. I just wait, assess where my strengths are and their weaknesses are, and if those both line up, then just one move, make it work, and get the pass done. Because if you start showing your hand, it's a bit like poker. If you start showing your hand, everyone knows where you're strong. It's easy to defend.
Your E-teammate is in pit lane, and now out of pit lane there is Jared Philsell, winner of the middle race tonight, and a winner last week on the oval. So does the ovals well, and at Spa, he's going to drop out a few spots here, but we'll have the freshest tyres in the lead group.
He's up it on the pit exit.
So he'll slot out into 6th position, and immediately on the defensive because here comes Josh Anderson with the headlights flashing. Are you a headlight flasher, Gar?
No, not a headlight flasher either. I mean, if you're any good, someone behind you having a headlight on isn't going to do anything about it, is it? So just wasting battery voltage there, turning the headlights on.
These might be things you have to do when you go and do the Spa 24-hour one day.
Well, I know that the Euro guys love the headlight button, and I know that the GT cars have an actual flasher button. You just hit the button and they flash away for you. So, and that button, all the GT cars I've driven with European teammates, that button does get worn out, that's for sure.
So 17 incident points this race, and a lot of drivers, I mean, Jordan Caruso, it says he's exceeded it, and that means you will receive a drive-through penalty, but that's GPS data there, so it's not always entirely accurate to what the iRacing service will give the drivers as Josh Rogers sets another new Seiko 5 fastest lap. That's as quick as qualifying, by the way. Yeah. Josh Rogers very fast with a 2:19.
But interestingly, because the track is hotter than what it was for the All-Star E-Series, Shane Van Gisbergen went 2:17.5 in qualifying. in the top 10 shootout when he picked up pole by half a second. So it shows you the massive difference in track condition that you can get in iRacing, which is all simulated. They don't have wet weather, but they do have changeable weather. Cloud cover makes a big difference. Track conditions always changing. The rubber comes in.
And this is one of the toughest circuits on the iRacing service to pick up those incident points because of the tarmac runoffs, because of the widened track. Obviously this corner here, the chicane or the final chicane in Grand Prix racing has been remodeled over the years. Used to be a bus stop and so many more layouts, but you can just see as we see Emily Jones with about a 50-meter lock up there into the apex. You can exceed those 17 incident points quite easily. Here's Sam Blacklock. And this is a battle for P12 and some important points. 150 for the winner.
Battle of the fuel brands down at La Source. Oh, that's cool. Locking the right front. I love that shot from up above at La Source on the hairpin. And you can walk out there and stand on that piece of wall there and watch them come through, and it's really, really spooky. They carry so much heat in there. They start out wide and then swing in, and we're going to go side by side for Eau Rouge. Who's going to back out of this one? Wow, that would have been brave IRL, and it's Sam Blacklock who gets the job done and wins that steering contest. Yeehaw! That was a bit of Mark Webber style down there.
Yeah, I was just thinking very Mark Webber, Fernando Alonso, wasn't it?
Yeah, so. That was cool. And he's going to lose 2 for the price of 1 as through goes Ethan Grigg-Gault. That's Emily Jones, I should say. I thought it was Forza Alnabi that we're racing with there, but it's Emily Jones losing 2 spots under heavy fire.
Surprised Ethan Grigg-Gault hasn't been taken out this race.
Ah, the race is still young.
That's right, bit of commentator's curse there.
Yeah.
How can you have so much bad luck?
It's a green car.
Race car.
Green race car.
Green race car.
I thought it was red. Like the
green.
Bulls chasing.
Definitely don't have a green race car. It's bad luck.
Yep. You ever raced a green car at all? I'm trying. There would have been a bit of green on the Bunnings Formula Ford.
I did have, actually, yeah, green on the Formula Ford for a bit. And, yeah, crashed that car a couple of times when we painted it green, so...
There you go. It's true. Any other superstitions you got?
No, not anymore. I think I sort of grew out of them. I used to have some in go-karts.
Grew out of them.
I had green socks in go-karts that I thought were good luck. And then I crashed, so they got thrown in the bin. It's funny to think.
Oh, that's over.
Yep, no, they're no good. Get rid of them.
Here is Phil Sell on a charge. He's got the fresher tyres here. And he is putting the pressure on Jake Burton. 2 big stops coming up and a chance to make this move stick through the very fast Francorchamps.
1 second is how much a fresh set of rubber is worth. A lap. Here's Phil Sell diving to the inside and closes the door. God, just as you said, he showed his hand there.
Yeah, he was too far back. He was never actually going to get up the inside there. Actually better off setting up the run down to the La Source hairpin, getting a good run out of this bus stop.
In the next few years, they're going to be doing some track upgrades here as he gets the job done at La Source. Burton tries to get the drive back on him, not going to happen. Adding some gravel traps to Spa's famous circuit and potentially a return of motorcycle racing as Ethan Grigg-Gault gets that one done down at La Source. Imagine MotoGP back at this place.
That'd be very cool.
Seeing them run side by side like this down towards Eau Rouge.
It'd also be good to see some gravel traps back in the runoff areas. We saw some of the F1 races this year that went back to some of the old school circuits that had gravel traps that going off the track had consequences. So I think as a driver, you want to have consequences. Sure, we want to have the racetracks as safe as possible, but if you make a mistake, you need to pay the penalty.
Cool fight, this one. And Lucky Green around the outside. The Shannon's insurance car.
Oh, no.
Got it done.
Gets it done. The irony that the Shannon's insurance car was the one who's been crashed into the most over the course of this series. He gets that move made, driving nicely.
I'm sure it gets a discount on its premium.
He'd want to by this stage. He hasn't got one of those no claim bonus at the moment. It's not very good for Ethan Grigg-Gault.
Good racing by Sam Blacklock, who celebrated his Montreal reverse grid race victory with his parents and a bottle of champagne.
Lovely.
He cracked it open for one of 2 Kiwis in the field.
How cool.
He's running a very similar set of specs to you down there at the moment, Sam Blacklock. He's got the glasses on. You don't race with the glasses, do you?
No, you use contacts with the race car, just for sweat.
Did you ever try it? Was it weird?
Sweat. No, just sweat.
Yeah.
Glasses.
There it is.
Don't sit comfortably.
I don't think Sam's going to get too sweaty.
You don't have that problem in the sim.
What happens if you crash with the glasses on?
I don't know.
Never had a crash?
I have to ask Todd Hazelwood.
I'll ask, Jack Perkins.
Yep. Jason Bright used to run them.
Well, just don't drive a green car, Garth.
Well, that's right. Yep.
All the cool kids wear glasses. Here's Brady Myers. Scott McLaughlin ran them during the eSeries as well.
What were they?
Like glare,
anti-glare glasses. Yeah. They look like Dame. He looked like he borrowed them off Dame Ed.
They were Dame Ed specials, weren't they?
He got a few texts after we saw that.
And the best set of glasses out there is Madison Down, currently sitting 4th in the field. Virtual reality goggles. Nick Perkett had the best comment. Doesn't like wearing virtual reality because he's worried someone's going to run up and punch him when he's wearing them, which I just thought was great. James Golding wide at Blanchimont. Wide and then some. There you go. That's what we want to see. Gravel traps back for that very reason. This is a cool battle. And the youngest and the oldest going to go at it. 16-year-old in the Penrite car. And 33-year-old Josh Muggleton. And then in the middle, out the back in the Sid Chrome car, James Golding for Team 18.
Both born on the same day, the youngest and the oldest, 30th of April. 1987 to 2004, if that makes you feel old or young.
I think both those numbers make me feel old.
I love this point of the circuit. FIA World Rallycross actually run their Rallycross circuit around here too. It's quite thrilling.
Live look at blink cam. And Job doing a bit more blinking and a bit of picking as well.
Bit of gardening. Mid-race gardening.
Perfect timing. The things you can't do with a helmet on. One of the cool things about the All-Star E-Series is getting to see the drivers, getting to see their faces. Still this fight's going on, and Blacklock's got him back.
Yep, these three have been going at it for laps. It's been great.
Good scrap. We've picked up another one here as well. Brady Myers going to join this fun little fight as well. Battle pack of the night so far. 4-car scrap. 4 different Mustangs. 4 Supercars Mustangs having a fight. And that was pretty cool. Now, there has been a supercar that has ran at Spa before. I'll finish that in a second because this is our Lenovo Savage moment. Great run out of Radion. Had to go the long way. Ethan Griggould said, if you want it, go that way, buddy, around the outside. And would you believe it? He pulled it off.
So
that's late.
Oh,
good racing.
Sent it.
Nice.
That's a reverse of what we saw the lap prior with the Shannon's car getting around the Shell V-Power car.
They both broke about 10 or 20 metres later than the marker. I'm surprised they both nailed the apex.
So like we're saying, there was a supercar that made it all the way to Spa. Who drove that supercar, Garth, back in the V8 supercars back in the day?
I don't know. I would have put my hand up for it.
It would have been your car.
Oh, is that the Zach Brown car?
No, I'm talking about the Donut King car that used
to
be your Gary Rogers Motorsport car.
Yes. It wasn't quite supercar spec by the time it got there.
No, had a few of the Go Fast bits taken off it for endurance racing mode. Melrose.
Oh, cool.
Melrose.
It was an old that was an ex-GRM car, so
ran the Spa 12-hour here.
Yeah, cool. Now, I mean, if you could take a supercar anywhere, this would be a cool place to take a supercar. Like one, a current spec supercar, fully hotted up on a good set of softs around here would be awesome fun.
You raise a good point because Zach Brown does have one of your old supercars.
Yeah, I should ask him if he needs someone to have a drive.
Have a track day at Spa, you reckon? Take it around the Nordschleife one day as well. Only 90 minutes away is the Nürburgring from Spa.
Really?
That's true. Imagine that, 2 of the coolest racetracks in the world and you can drive there in 90 minutes.
Is that a walk or a drive? I'm just...
You drive, thankfully. Lots of cool racetracks in this part of the world. We had Monza last week. What's on the menu next week, Jonathan? I know Phillip Island.
We've got Phillip Island and then Interlagos.
Lovely. Weirdly, a good track in iRacing for the supercars. We've seen some pretty fun races there.
Yeah, despite some of the long radius corners,
I wouldn't think it works well for them, no. Here's a cool fight. 3 cars. Here comes Muggleton. I was half wondering if Golding was going to fancy himself a chance to pick them both off.
Oh, he is.
He's going to buy himself a ticket into this fight. Oh, he's worked that beautifully. That's racecraft for you. Job Stewart just got schooled. And he's
still
giving
there.
him a lot of room, though.
Stewart's still there.
He held onto it.
Good job.
Wow, Golding was extremely nice to him then on the exit of Malmedy. Erebus junior driver in the middle of this fight from Mount Gambier. I think he's a year 10 student off the top of my head, so still a kid. Been happy with his top 10 pace so far this year. Working with Wayne Mackey, who's Will Brown's engineer in the Super 2 category. He's been on iRacing since he was 10.
He's a veteran. He's 16 and he's a veteran.
That's pretty cool. And how cool to see Erebus throwing their weight behind young drivers.
I don't think you're allowed to subscribe to iRacing until you're 13, so I'll make sure that stat.
I do remember when we raced against Will Brown that it wasn't his name. Because when he signed up to iRacing, he wasn't old enough, or he didn't have a credit card or something.
Might have been Leanne, actually.
It was Leanne Brown.
Leanne, there you go.
He still races with his mum's name now.
Brilliant. Now, what's James doing here? He's changed his camera angle for this week.
He's got his T-shirt on upside down.
It's upside down, Miss Jane. There he goes.
Beebs, your T-shirt's on upside down, mate.
It's so he can read it when he looks.
Yeah, true.
So
he's got the gloves. He's running the gloves.
Bringing all the thrills tonight.
Not a fan of the gloves in the driving the sim.
You've been critical of it, to say the least.
I just don't see how your hand's going to catch fire.
Never know. You're on fire, Ricky Bobby. Here we go. This is on down the Camel Straight. Cooper Webster, desperate for his first podium, and he's going to have to earn it. Madison down and a fast-charging Jared Filsell with an ultra run on both of them.
This is for the podium. Last lap.
Last lap, last step on the podium. Side drafting, pushing, shoving. Webster goes deep. Madison down goes deeper, and Filsell gets one of them.
Could inherit the world here. He's got the freshest tyres. Remember, he stopped the latest.
He goes from 5th to 4th. Webster goes 3rd to 5th. And Madison down now, up onto the podium. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the points is how they sit on the track.
he needs this, Jared Filsell. He needs a podium, he needs it for the championship, and he needs it for the prize money and pride. This is an important move if you can get it done on the Brad Jones Racing driver.
Shame for Cooper Webster. Now, Madison Down has the oldest tyres in this battle pack, but typically very good at looking after the rubber. Did pick up the V8 Scops win here a few weeks ago, which is their other online series that they regularly race in, so very quick around here.
So we saw earlier in the race that Madison Down was defending heavily into that final chicane. And realistically, that's the last chance that Filsell will have to get the job done. So he needs to get a good run through this last complex, get to the rear bumper of Madison Down and try and make something happen at that final chicane.
Like Shane Van Gisbergen and Anton De Pasquale in the All-Star E-Series. Here we go.
The fairway back. Will the toe get him there before we get to the chicane?
And the Cup Cadet cars' old tyres will not be fun through Blanchimont. Might get a bit of push through there. Meanwhile, the Appliances Online Mobile 1 team with Josh Rogers cruising to another 4-second victory. He has been sublime. He's going to get the perfect 7 at Spa with 1 corner to go through La Source. Looking comfortable for now. Madison Down still hanging on for 3rd in the background. Last corner, Josh Rogers, and it's another Walkinshaw Andretti United 1-2. Checkered flag is in the air, and he's in 7th heaven tonight. Another race win for Josh Rogers, and Madison Down has held on, defended for his life, picks up 3rd. Cooper Webster, unlucky, buddy. You raced hard. He's just too good. He's just too good. And you are looking at one of the best in the world. Like we said, Autosport have nominated him in the top 4 drivers for esports this year, anywhere in the world.
We're very fortunate to have him in our championship. It's a great benchmark to see where everyone stands. And Josh Rogers, as you said, did it again.
I think there's 21 drivers who disagree with that because they are sick of seeing the 25 out there. He's driving Chaz Mostert's car beautifully, and it's another race win on the Repco race score right now with Dane Warren 2nd behind him once again. And it's another 1-2. We had a Red Bull 1-2 on the ovals. Now Walkinshaw Andretti United 1-2 once again. Outside the top 10, there were some really cool battles in that battle pack the whole way down through the field. Back to Harley Haber, who picked up a drive-through penalty. Repco highlights. Wrapping up what's been a really cool night of Supercars E-Series. Race 14, 3 to go next week. And the Walkinshaw Andretti United cars were just too strong off the front row. This is a track where Michael Andretti got to race in Formula 1 back in 1993 when he was at McLaren. And how cool is that Zach Smith now part of that ownership as well. So what happened on that opening lap of the race? Oh. Wow, Richard Hamstead getting together with the Kelly Racing car. That's what caused that early moment. Then this one with Jackson Suzlin-Harlow, who came home 6th. Jared Filsell recovered nicely. Kane was just asking for it sitting there at pit entrance.
And that pit stop, actually, or that contact with Susan Harlow, potentially cost Filsell the podium. He lost some time there as we saw a nice squabble here between Blacklock and Emily Jones. Boom. And there's James Golding using the track limits to his liking. He had 17 incident points to use in this race. This was a brake marker that these two guys missed and still made the apex of the corner. Brilliant racing between Blacklock and Ethan Grigol. But Josh Rogers, his 16th win in 30 attempts, and not only that, but last week at Monza, he had the largest gap between first to second in our series history. Man, he is unstoppable.
He did win the iRacing Spa 24-hour at this track. He's now won eSeries at this track. He is so strong. Walkinshaw Andretti United doing very nicely. 1-2 in the championship once again. But he's not made our Lenovo top performers of the night because, well, we've seen enough of him in there. So we're going to throw 3 different names in there right now, including Shane Van Gisbergen. So the fans might have a chance to vote for him tomorrow. Jared Filsell and Andrew Gilliam, who won the Seiko 5 shootout. So head to Facebook tomorrow, find the post, and you can vote on who you think your Lenovo top performer is. That was a lot of fun. Well, you brought the good luck, Garth, to Shane Van Gisbergen and Jared Filsell tonight, so well done.
Cheers. Thanks for having me, guys. It was great fun.
Enjoyed to have your company here tonight. John, I'll see you for the next round, which is 100%. The last round.
Yep, loving it. Looking forward to it. Phillip Island, Interlagos, 2 great circuits.
I am reliably informed that we're going to have Ryan Walkinshaw in that seat. Maybe here. Thank you. I'll leave it all. He's going to be here to see his boys win a championship potentially because they are looking very strong. Thanks for your company tonight. We'll see you next week for the finale.